Hi everyone, welcome back. Now we can see, like I mentioned in my previous video, both check has been passed and the EC2 instance is running now, so we can clearly see now the EC2 instance is up and running for the connectivity. Quickly, if we just go inside, we're gonna see some properties in here, and obviously this is not the admin login which has the full permission, so that's why some areas it is giving me the error that I'm not supposed to see or authorized to perform these actions which get that information for the display, which is fine because I don't need that at this stage. But this something which I want to show you. Have a look at some detailed information about your EC2 instance. Like you can see the platform, whatever we have selected, the AMI ID, if you remember the virtual machine operating system that I mentioned, that it is the pre-packaged OS that has been created by either Amazon or some third party for us, and it has all the pre-configured setting that we can further customize based on our need, right? And then obviously some other information which is useful, and you're gonna see some of the hardware related stuff like number of CPU. You can see we only have one because we are using the free tier, so we're not gonna use it for any heavy workload. In security, you can see that I have the security group, and security group is more like a firewall which allow what traffic can go from on the virtual machine to other virtual machine or other services. Same, what can enter. So it's more like a gatekeeper which should, allow any entering or exit from our virtual machine. I have just checked and find out I didn't record a video on security group, which I will do later on. But at this stage, you just need to understand security group define the rules which control the traffic from your machine on both direction, outside, which is outbound, and inside, which is coming from externally, right? So that's security, and you can see we have the networking, and in here you can see our public IP address, and we also have the private because this is part of our public subnet which has started from 10.0.0.0. So it has allocated, because we have selected that allocate my virtual machine the IP address dynamically. So you can see I got the 10.0.0.154, right? And then some other information, we have ENI, which is the elastic network interface. It's just like the physical network interface which used to allow the communication from our network interface. All right, so storage, if you remember, we have selected two. One is the default, which is going to be a boot device, and the other one has the local storage, which I've selected as a 30 gig, right? So some of the info and status check. Now you can see both check has been completed, system reachability check passed, and instant status check has been passed. And like I mentioned, you need to wait till these two checks has been performed, otherwise it won't allow you to connect to your virtual machine. Monitoring, if you want to see what's happening with your machine, it's all CloudWatch area that allow you to show different that allow you to see different kind of matrices that help you to observe the performance or what's going on in your virtual machine, right? So all these graphs are really useful if you want to troubleshoot any issue linked to our virtual machine. And you can see some graphs are already start coming in, and they are showing the bars that where the network traffic is high, where it is low. So all sort of things, right? It's a very enriched area that you need to understand thoroughly if you want to monitor, you understand, or you want to troubleshoot the performance issue of your virtual machine. It'll be a subject of the future videos. Now, by saying it, let's go and connect to my virtual machine, because that's the most important thing. And by the way, if you are using Linux, you don't need to install anything, because Linux already comes with SSH tool that allow you to connect to your virtual machine. But because I'm on my Windows operating system, so I'm going to use PuTTY. PuTTY allow you to connect to the Linux or Unix-based environment using the DOS-like interface, right, or non-GUI interface. So I've already installed it. Let me just show it to you. So all it requires two things. One is the key, and obviously we need that. It's going to be a private key that I have set it up or attached with my EC2 instance for the authentication, because with that I don't need the password, and that's the most authenticated way, or I would say the best practice to connect to your virtual machine. Never ever try to use password. They are going to always create trouble for you. Sometime you forgot it, or if the password has been leaked, your machine is going to be on a big risk, right? So always use the keys and save your keys in a safe place. All right. So let me come in here, and because I'm going to connect, so and I'm going to use the SSH client. So it's showing me that you can use this public IP address, because obviously this machine is going to now accessible from the public internet to my network. So that's the private IP I can use to connect to this machine. So I'm just going to copy it. So my host name or IP address is going to be this. Port is by default going to be 22. Now, how it is connecting or how it is allowing me to connect to the virtual machine, that is all part of the security group, which I will record later. But at this stage, just imagine that everything has been set it up for us, so we are able to connect to this machine. Now, the second important thing is the authentication. So if you can see in here under the connection, we have the SSH, and under SSH we have the authentication tab. And in the authentication tab, once you click it, it's gonna ask you to browse the key. So I already have my key in here, which I've downloaded it as part of the installation. And now I can hit open. Now it is asking me what's the username that I'm going to connect. So you can see the username I can see in the background, EC2-user. That's the default username for each instance. So I'm going to connect as this user, right? But remember, I'm not going to provide any password, because I've already provided my key, which allow me to authenticate against this machine, right? So as soon as I just hit enter, you can see it has connected to my virtual machine. So which is great. Like I can see ls, and it is because we don't have any stuff in here. Let's see what we have in here. PWD. So we are in the user directory. How about if I just go one step back? We have only one user, which is good. How about now? So we're going to see the full Linux operating system directory structure in here. So you can see you have the bin, you have the boot. And what I'll do, just for the reference, because I want to see show you that whether it's connected to internet or not. So I'm just going to now connect back, and let me see which Python I do have. Okay, and how about which Python 3? Yeah, so I'm just going to say Python and which pip I have. No pip. All right. How about which pip 3 we have? Yeah, we have pip 3. So what I'm going to do, pip 3 install numpy, because I believe NumPy is not installed by default as part of the Python. So we need to install this package before we can use it, right? So let me just hit enter, and if it is connected to the internet, you're gonna see it's downloading the NumPy libraries from the internet, which is good. So now we can see it is getting the data. So that means the virtual machine is able to connect to the internet, and that is all because we have put it in the public subnet. As soon as I put it in back into the private subnet, it's not going to able to connect to the internet, because that private network is not allowing any internet communication, because we have designed it to be for our databases or the database instances, right? So it shouldn't reach to the internet. So we're gonna see it practically in the upcoming video. But by now you can see we are all good. Great to see that we have installed the virtual machine. The internet is available. Our dev environment is fully up and running. We are able to run the Python. And by the way, just want to show you Python 3. We are in the Python, and if I import NumPy, Well, MP, you're gonna see, yeah, it allow me. How about if I just import pandas? XPD. No, we don't have it, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to quit or just saying Control D. Yeah, I'm now back into my environment. And what I'll do now, instead of NumPy, I'm just going to install pandas. And now it is getting the panda version for me. It is installing. All right. So it has installed the pandas, and now if I just run the NumPy again, if I import pandas now, SPD, there we go. We are able to access this package, right? So this machine is fully ready from the dev work perspective. At least it has the connectivity, and now the last step, what we're gonna do, we're gonna allow this machine to access our RDS instance, which is part of the full architecture, because the only piece which is left now is to install other packages or languages if we need to, or from the configuration perspective, how it can connect to our RDS instance. So if you have any question, please feel free to reach out for your particular queries. More than happy to answer. Otherwise, thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next part to configure the RDS instance.